Welcome back to the news desk. We start today with the drama unfolding in the paddock as Charles Leclerc made a crucial move following the Miami Grand Prix sprint race. We dive into how his timely apology to Kimi Antonelli helped navigate a potential social media storm and preserve the integrity of the sport.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the sprint results from the Miami GP. We break down the 5 quick takeaways from the race, including how Lando Norris secured a win for McLaren and the significant impact of the paddock's tribute to the late Alex Zanardi. Now, the main event. Kimi Antonelli absolutely dominated the Miami Grand Prix, securing his 3rd consecutive victory and taking a commanding championship lead. We explore the intense battle involving Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri, and the surprising on-track drama that unfolded. Finally, we wrap up with the crucial implications of Antonelli's win, detailing how this victory extends his title lead and what it means for the championship fight. Stay with us for the full analysis, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest F1 action. In the hyper-connected world of modern Formula One, where instantaneous social media reactions can rapidly escalate into controversy, timely public apologies are proving to be a critical tool for managing on-track incidents. This dynamic was clearly demonstrated following the Miami Grand Prix sprint race, where comments made by Charles Leclerc toward Kimi Antonelli narrowly averted a significant social media storm targeting the young Italian driver. The tension escalated during the sprint race following a wheel-to-wheel battle between Leclerc and Antonelli. In the heat of the moment, Leclerc reportedly expressed critical remarks about the championship leader over team radio. While such emotional reactions are common in the high-adrenaline environment of short-format races, in today's landscape, these comments are easily amplified and can be misinterpreted, fueling negative narratives, particularly against emerging drivers like Antonelli, who already face intense scrutiny. Previous incidents, including those involving Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, highlight how quickly competitive clashes can turn into public relations challenges for drivers. Recognizing this vulnerability, Charles Leclerc took decisive action at the end of the session. He publicly addressed the situation, softening his initial tone, providing context for the on-track battle, and delivering a direct apology to Antonelli. This intervention was strategically executed. The apology was carefully framed, acknowledging the pressure of the race without over-justifying the initial outburst, thereby maintaining both accountability and credibility. The immediate effect was significant. The apology reframed the incident as a standard competitive episode rather than a personal conflict. This action successfully prevented negative interpretations from gaining momentum and limiting the spread of hostile content directed at Antonelli. This gesture from an established figure like Leclerc provided crucial protective value to a younger talent under intense pressure. It underscores a vital lesson for Formula One. The sport is as much about interpersonal conduct as it is about machinery. The ability of drivers to recognize excessive reactions and communicate responsibly strengthens mutual respect and fosters a healthier competitive environment, offering indirect support to younger drivers navigating the spotlight. Leclerc's words ultimately set a benchmark for responsible communication, proving that professional conduct can mitigate reputational damage and preserve the integrity of the sport. Noi Dung Kai Tight. The recent Miami Grand Prix sprint delivered several key takeaways for the Formula One paddock, signaling a shift in competitive dynamics and highlighting ongoing team performance disparities. Fears of one-team dominance appear to have subsided following upgrades that brought both Ferrari and McLaren back into contention. Lando Norris secured a victory in the 19-lap sprint, taking pole position in the McLaren, while Oscar Piastri held off Charles Leclerc to claim 2nd place. While Mercedes experienced an apparent step back in the competitive session, analysts point to mitigating factors, including the team's decision to delay the bulk of its upgrades until the Canadian round. However, McLaren's ongoing updates suggest the competitive picture for the 2026 season will remain fluid, which is viewed positively after Mercedes' strong initial performance. /N beyond the immediate race results, the current state of the grid reveals persistent challenges for several teams. Audi continues to struggle with reliability issues concerning its power units, while Aston Martin and Honda remain significantly behind in terms of competitiveness. Williams is also noted as being at the back of the midfield, hampered by an overweight car. /N in contrast, Alpine has demonstrated the success of its recent package of upgrades, solidifying its position at the top of the midfield. Franco Colapinto achieved his best qualifying result to date, securing 8th place, and Pierre Gasly continued his strong form, successfully passing his teammate to bank another point by defeating the second Red Bull driver, Isaac Hadjar. /N Alpine's performance suggests that their 2025 strategic sacrifices are yielding positive results, particularly as they adapt to their new customer engines from Mercedes. The Miami weekend format itself has also sparked discussion regarding the value of sprint races in F1. The format has proven appealing to F1 leadership, as it generates competitive action on Saturday, offering a race even if the main Grand Prix is jeopardized by the threat of thunderstorms. Florida's stringent lightning laws mean that even a rescheduled event is not guaranteed, underscoring F1's strategy to avoid situations where spectators and personnel are left idle. /N the event was also marked by a moment of solemnity, as F1 observed a minute of silence to pay tribute to the late Alex Zanardi, who passed away at the age of 59. Zanardi's legacy as a Paralympic champion and inspiration for courage resonated deeply within the motorsport community, prompting tributes from drivers and team principals across the paddock. Kimi Antonelli secured a dominant victory at the Miami Grand Prix on Sunday, marking his 3rd consecutive Formula One win. The 19-year-old Mercedes driver demonstrated strong championship potential despite a challenging race start. The event was complicated by unpredictable weather. Threats of heavy rain prompted F1 to move the race start up by 3 hours, and an early morning thunderstorm with lightning strikes near the Hard Rock Stadium passed just before the race began. The opening laps were characterized by intense action. Charles Leclerc of Ferrari initiated a spectacular charge from 3rd, surging to the lead when Antonelli made an error defending, leading to contact with Max Verstappen, who spun and dropped to 9th position. Antonelli quickly recovered, reclaiming the lead on the 5th lap. The lead changed hands briefly as Lando Norris of McLaren took over on lap 14, after Leclerc had briefly regained the front. Antonelli ultimately managed to pass Norris off pit lane and solidify his position. The race saw George Russell and Antonelli claim the first 4 wins of the season for Mercedes. Oscar Piastri of McLaren crossed the line 2nd, finishing 3.2 seconds behind Antonelli. Charles Leclerc ultimately finished 6th after a spin on the final lap, while George Russell finished 4th, and Max Verstappen secured a season-best 5th place for Red Bull. In the Cadillac debut in the United States, the weekend was underwhelming, with Sergio Perez finishing 16th and Valtteri Bottas 18th, the last car to complete the 22-driver field. The race also featured several incidents. Isaac Hadjar was disqualified after qualifying and retired early after crashing his car. Later in the race, Pierre Gasly suffered a full rollover after contact with Liam Lawson, with his car becoming stuck on the barrier. The next round on the F1 calendar is the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on May 24th. This event marks a schedule adjustment, shifting the race from Monaco and positioning it to follow the Indianapolis 500 before concluding during the NASCAR Coca-Cola 600. Kimi Antonelli secured a commanding lead in the Mercedes Drivers' Championship in Miami after a thrilling race-long battle against Lando Norris of McLaren. The 19-year-old Italian claimed his 3rd consecutive victory, extending his title lead by 20 points. Antonelli's performance marked a significant milestone, as he became the first driver to win from his first 3 poles and surpassed his teammate George Russell in the standings, who finished 4th. The Miami Grand Prix was characterized by intense action. The race began with a 3-car fight involving Ferrari's Charles Leclerc before settling into a fierce contest between Mercedes and McLaren. The anticipated rain never materialized, leading to a dry race, although sporadic mid-race weather changes did occur. Key moments included a dramatic incident where Max Verstappen lost control on the curb at Turn 2 after being squeezed by Leclerc, causing him to spin and drop to 10th, a setback for the Red Bull team. Following a safety car period triggered by 2 separate accidents, the battle resumed. Lando Norris ultimately took second from Antonelli before overtaking Leclerc to seize the lead. The decisive phase involved a strategic pit stop gamble. Antonelli pitted for fresh tires on lap 24, while Norris waited, but Antonelli gained the necessary advantage on fresher rubber to hold off Norris in the final laps, despite facing issues with gear shifts and overheating rear tires. Norris expressed disappointment, acknowledging that the team could have secured a win. McLaren's recent upgrades proved effective, bringing them into direct contention with Mercedes. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc faced controversy after being pitted on lap 21 without consultation, which ultimately cost him further ground as he struggled for grip and eventually spun on the final lap. Max Verstappen was later investigated by stewards for crossing the white line on pit exit, and George Russell is also under scrutiny for incidents involving both Leclerc and Verstappen. The race concluded with a mixed result, highlighting the yo-yo racing that has defined the season.